Camille, and right now we're in Wheaton's Fiber Lab in Watson, room 138, and I'm going to be training you on the Husqvarna Designer Epic embroidery machine. So let's go. The first step is to turn the machine on down here, and then it takes a little while to load. So there are a bunch of different things you can do on the machine. There's sewing, quilting, embroidery. First, we're going to go through sewing. So we're going to click the type of fabric we have, which is medium woven. We're using cotton. And then we're going to click on seam. This is our workspace. It has preset specifications that you can keep if you want, or you can change if you decide they're not working. So here's the stitch length and the tension, and it tells us the type of presser foot and needle we need to use. Okay, so now we need to move the thread because it's not going to stay there. We need to thread the machine. So it stays up on here, but we're going to bring it into here, then around and down. This is just like a regular sewing machine, a couple different spots. Around, bring it down here. And then a cool thing about this machine is that there's an automatic needle threader, so you just have to set it up in the correct place, hit auto, and it's going to thread the needle. Okay, so the next step is to wind the bobbin. So we need to take our thread and our bobbin here, put our thread on this peg. So grab the thread, put it over here, bring it down here, onto this hook, around here, down, and then we will grab our bobbin and put it on this peg, then grab our thread again, wrap it around a couple times, and then press this up towards the bobbin. Now there's a button on the screen to press play to start winding the bobbin, and it'll go for it until it's all the way full. Okay, now it's done. Take it off, cut the string here, and then we need to thread the upper part of the machine. The last thing to do is put our threaded bobbin in the machine. So first you'll hit this button to get the bobbin case off, then pop the bobbin in its place and pull the thread around, and then you're good. Put the case back on and you're ready to sew. So now we'll be sewing just like a regular sewing machine. You're going to put your fabric up here where you want to start, and then you can press the presser foot down, and now you have to use the foot pedal on the ground to control its stitching, and then you can just go for it. I usually guide the fabric. And if I want to turn a corner, I'll just make sure that the needle is in the fabric, turning the hand wheel, and then lift the presser foot up, and then you can turn it, put the presser foot down, and then just go. And you can also do a back stitch to secure it in place by hitting the reverse button. That way your stitches will be strong and not come apart. And then when you're done, you can hit the scissors button and it'll cut the thread for you. And there you go. That was a little bit of the sewing basics. Now we'll transition over to embroidery. So we're going to go to the home button, to the main screen, And now we can click on the embroidery tab, and we'll hit start new. And it's taking us to the embroidery workspace. So the embroidery section requires some new tools. So we're going to switch out this unit for the embroidery unit. Slide it on. It will click in place. And then it needs to calibrate. We also need to change the presser foot here. So we will whip out our toolbox, grab the embroidery foot and this tool called the universal tool. And then we're going to unscrew this ankle here with the universal tool. And put on the embroidery foot. Screw it in place. And we're good to go. So now we need to choose the embroidery hoop we're going to use. So for this, we're going to use the 120 by 120 size, and then we're going to cut our fabric and stabilizer to put it in here. So we need to cut our fabric to be big enough for the hoop size. So it should be about 1 inch or more on all sides so that it's big enough. And we need to cut our stabilizer about the same size as well. And that just gives the machine a little bit more material to work with. This is tearaway stabilizer, so it won't stay on your piece. You can rip it off. Okay. So we have our materials, and now we need to put it on the hoop. So we will unscrew the hoop. Open this lever, now it's loose. The big piece goes on the bottom. The stabilizer goes on top. Then the fabric. And then our small piece is pushed down inside of it. You may need to loosen up the hoop if it doesn't fit right away. So push it down in. Then we can come over, press that lever down again, and tighten the hoop. And you'll want to gently pull at the sides of the fabric to make sure that it is taut against the hoop so that nothing gets caught in the machine. And then we can set this aside while we design our project. Back to our design workspace. First, you want to choose the size hoop we have. So we're using 120 by 120, just to make sure what we design will fit on there. So over on these tabs, there's lots of different preloaded designs you can choose from. You can scroll down, there's more tabs over here, lots of fun things. There's also a bunch of fonts that you can choose from on this A tab here. so you can go down and make a bunch of different words. You can also save files and send them to the machine. They'd be found here. But let's go back and pick a design. To put it on the screen, you'll click on it and then hold it and drag it onto the space. So this is a perfect size. As long as it fits within these borders, it will be able to be stitched out. So you can resize things by dragging the corners, just like an image. You can rotate it here. If you decided you didn't like this and wanted to delete it, you'd go over down to the toolbox here and click the trash here. Or you can rotate it up and down or mirror it side by side. You can also duplicate it. So now there's two. As you see, there's a red outline, so that means it's not quite going to fit on our screen, so we would have to make it smaller. So now they'll be able to both fit on there. If I only want one, again, I'll select the one I don't want and hit the trash can. So let's resize this and put it where we would like. You can also center things here. And when you have a design that you like, you will hit go, and it'll take us to the next screen. Here are some specifications that you have to make sure are correct. So we have this foot that we put on, and our hoop size is correct. So we're good to go. We can hit continue, and the machine's going to calibrate to the correct size. Okay, so now it's time for us to put our hoop on there, as long as we have a correct color that we want. If you decide you want a different color, you can rethread the machine for the color you want. So we will put our hoop on here. This chunk goes into the machine, slides right in, and clicks in place. Once you're ready, you will just hit this start-stop button, and it's going to stitch everything for you. If it has more than one color, it will stitch the first color. Then it'll tell you to remove the hoop and change the color. You'll do so and continue until it's finished. So let's go. Start. So our piece is done stitching out, so we're going to remove the hoop from the machine by pressing down this button here, pulling it out. Here it is, and now we'll just remove it from the hoop. So again, open this lever, unscrew it a little bit, take this off, and then you can just pull the fabric off of the stabilizer. It's tearaway stabilizer, so it's not going to hurt your piece, and it can just come right off. The inner pieces you could take off with tweezers or something if you want to, and then you can cut these threads to clean it up a little bit. But here's our finished piece. And now you could sew it onto something. You could hang it up just like this. There's lots of possibilities. Okay, so we're all done. There's lots of possibilities in here. If it interests you and you decide you want to learn, you can head over to the website or email Madison Dunaway, and you can get trained with me, Camille, or Emily. We're here 5 days a week from 5 to 8, so come on over.